If you're looking to learn what's included in a Reiki Level 1 course, perhaps you want to get an understanding of who it's for, what are the essentials, and maybe some tips around finding a Reiki master, then in this video I'm going to share all of that with you, including what I do on my Reiki 1 course. My name is Gwen Allison. I'm a Reiki Master Teacher. I've been teaching Reiki for maybe 8 years now. I've been practicing Reiki, qualified in Reiki for 11 years. I'm also a transformational life coach and a holistic business coach as well. So yeah, let's just start maybe at the beginning. So the people who are attracted to Reiki and want to learn Reiki, they can be from so many different sort of backgrounds and so many different reasons. So sometimes someone just has a calling. They don't know why. They just have this calling to learn Reiki, to understand the spiritual side of themselves maybe, or maybe they're feeling some heat in their hands and they want to know more about that. Some students come because they're empaths and they're not having a great time with that. They've not learned how to manage their energy, and they're hoping that through the Reiki course they can understand a bit more about what's going on with them, so they don't have to kind of live with this kind of suffering all the time. Some people want to learn Reiki because they want to do it as a career. So they want to transition from their job, be a corporate job or something else that they're doing, and they're wanting to start their own business, but do something to be of service to others. And so they maybe are approaching Reiki because of that as well. So there are many different reasons why people are called to Reiki. And particularly in my class, I would say sometimes 30% of the class have never even had a Reiki session. So that's perfectly normal and perfectly fine. So you don't need to know anything about Reiki when you join a Reiki 1 course. You don't need to have had Reiki at all. So don't worry about that. So the Reiki 1 course is known as Shoden level, which is the beginner's teachings. And during that course, what you should really be taught is, it really should start with energy. You should have a lesson in understanding what energy is. It can be really in depth or it can be really simple. With my Reiki level 1, I do like quantum physics and the science of spirituality. It made it really land for me in terms of my logical brain. And my students say the same. It's like, oh my God, this really makes sense. And it also gives them something they can explain to others who are really skeptical about Reiki. So I think it's important that we understand who we really are in this universe and the power that we have. So I always like to start with the energy piece. And we also talk about chakras as well, because sometimes that gives you a lovely map to follow when you're giving someone Reiki. So we go through the chakras, which is an Indian energy system, but I also talk about the Far Eastern energy system of tandons. So the 3 tandons, or you might know it as 3 diamonds or 3 danshans, it's called in China. And so that's important too, because that plays a big role in Reiki. So, but it depends on whether you learn Western Reiki, which doesn't kind of include too much of that, or Eastern Reiki, or a combination of both. I teach a combination of both. So you'd want to learn about energy. You'd want to also learn how you can manage your energy. That's so important. You want to be able to give more than one treatment on someone. You don't want to do a treatment and just be shattered and then that's all you can do. So understanding how to manage your energy is a really important part, I feel anyway. So that's something that I teach in my class. I also teach the history of Reiki so that people can understand where it's come from, the journey of the founder, Mikao Usui. And also we look at Dr. Hayashi and Mrs. Takata, and these are the people who, because of them, Reiki's moved to the West, from Japan to the West. So it's important to cover the history of Reiki as well. The other thing that's crucial is to cover the Reiki principles. So Mikao Usui gave us 5 principles to follow, which are really beautiful guidance for life. And so it's nice to talk about that. I cover that as more of a coaching exercise, I guess, coaching section, so that people can find out some practical ways to manage their emotions, as well as obviously using Reiki, but sometimes we also need some things we can do in the moment. So I cover that as well. And they also share what they use to help them through things like anger, frustration, or worry. So that's a crucial component, covering the Reiki principles, because that's really what we're trying to embody if we can, but we totally need to do that with compassion. The other thing that we cover in the Reiki 1 course, which is really important, is how to give Reiki to yourself. So right from the beginning, you have a daily practice that you can use for your own healing. And you also learn how to give Reiki to other people. I like to show them, my students, how to give someone Reiki who's sitting in a chair, because not everybody can lie on a couch, and how to give Reiki to someone lying on a couch. So they cover these things. They get a chance to treat each other with Reiki, swap partners for the next sort of treatment session, practice session, and feel different energies. And that starts to reassure them that they can do this. I haven't yet met a student who can't do Reiki. So, but that reassurance is always nice for them to have. We also maybe cover a few of the things, although it's Reiki 1, maybe some of the code of ethics things, some of the do's and don'ts around Reiki treatment, things like asking them if the person is okay with hands-on or hands-off, letting them know that Reiki carries on working for 3 days, and helping our students understand that Reiki is not the first port of call for trauma. So if someone's broken their leg in front of you, or they're bleeding to death in front of you, you don't say, no, I'll give you Reiki. You call the ambulance, and then whilst they're waiting, you can give them some Reiki. So just understanding some of the parameters, I guess, around Reiki, some of the do's and don'ts, is very important, so that they don't kind of hurt anyone and things like that. And also the person that they're working with, if they're working with their friends and family, they know they can say something if something feels uncomfortable. They don't have to feel like they're out of control. So I think they're the key things that we cover on the Reiki 1 course. We also look at the 5 elements of Reiki, the 3 pillars of Reiki as well, so you understand that. The Reiki 1 course has what's called attunements. So with the Reiki 1, there are 4 attunements, and an attunement is an initiation, I guess, into Reiki. It's a beautiful ceremony, which is just a few minutes per student, but it's very powerful. And for some, as I said, it can be the first time they've ever experienced Reiki. So, it can be really powerful for them, but it does also start some healing. With the Reiki 1, with my course is 2 days. So we have the 2 attunements on day 1, 2 attunements on day 2. So that's spread apart a little bit, because they can, as I said, start to bring things up. They can bring up emotions that your students might feel like coldy or fluey. They just may feel out of sorts. And there's a 21-day cleansing, detoxifying, clearing process that happens after that first attunement, where these things can come up. So we also need to prepare our students for that and be there to support them through that. So that's really important, that whoever you're going with, you ask them that, what happens after the attunements? Can I get hold of you? Is there a Facebook group, or a WhatsApp group? Can I email you? It is important that we're there to help people through that. Most people don't feel anything at all, but sometimes things can come up, so we need to know that we're there for our students, basically. So with the Reiki 1, there were 4 attunements. And then with the Reiki 2, there's only 2. The Reiki Master, there is only 1 attunement. I think it's believed that as you go through this journey, you've been practicing your Reiki, and therefore there's less resistance. And so there's less need for more attunements as you go through, the Reiki 2 and the Reiki Master. So they are the main things that are covered. The essential things are the history. I think energy, understanding energy, the Reiki principles, learning how to do Reiki on themselves so they can start doing that, learning how to do Reiki on their friends and family so they can start doing that. And, understanding the do's and don'ts around Reiki, very important as well. So they're the essential things. And although I do 4 attunements, which is, my course complies with the National Occupational Standards, which says that we should do 4 attunements over 14 contact hours, so 2 days of training. I know there are courses out there that just do 1 day of training, 1 attunement, and I'm not saying they're wrong, they're absolutely fine, but it all depends on where you want to go with your Reiki. If you feel you might want to make it a career, then you might want to go with a course that is accredited. But if you're just wanting to know out of your own self-healing and for your own curiosity, you totally don't need all of that. You can be attuned in 1 attunement. I think I just wouldn't I'd want to know that you're spending some time with your teacher, and it's not just a 2-hour online course, but you're actually, spending a day or two or more with your teacher, with your Reiki Master Teacher, learning about Reiki. So that kind of brings me on to what you need to look for in a Reiki Master Teacher. Maybe questions you might ask is, how long is it for? How many attunements they have? And you make a judgment about that for you. How big is the class? Is it a small class, a large class? How much practice is there in the class? And obviously what you learn, you want to make sure those essential things I talked about are in that class. Do you get a manual? I know some Reiki masters either give a really thin manual, no manual at all. My manual is quite extensive. I have quite a lot in there, and it actually covers more than we cover in the course. So it's a very extensive manual. So just ask about that as well, the manual. And you also would need to know if your Reiki Master's lineage goes back to Mikao Usui. So the lineage is almost like a family tree. So my Reiki Master has been trained by his Reiki Master, their Reiki Master, and it all goes back to Mikao Usui. That's what you want. So the final top of the tree should be Mikao Usui. So you want to check that that's happening, that's their lineage. And, you maybe a bit of a cheeky question, you might ask them about their own self-practice. What do they do for themselves? I really think it's important that a Reiki master, someone who's teaching Reiki, actually practices Reiki. I practice Reiki every single day without fail. It's a non-negotiable. Even if I've just got 5 minutes, I'll do 5 minutes of Reiki. So I think there would be kind of important questions to ask. And of course, what support is provided after the attunements, what can come up and what support is provided. But basically when you're choosing your Reiki master, it is an energy connection, right? So you might get that from their website or from their social media posts. You also want to make sure they're in alignment, so they're not there swearing or giving anyone the finger or whatever it is. You want to make sure, not saying that we have to be saints, but yeah, and I do know some Reiki masters who are really good who do swear, but you just want to make sure you're in alignment with them, right? Whatever resonates with you, because there are some students who may not resonate with me and some that do. So you just want to find a Reiki master that you feel safe and comfortable with to lead you on this journey and take it from there. So yeah, these are the main things really you're looking out for a Reiki level 1. I hope that's given you a little bit of an insight with what you should learn or what you would be learning in a Reiki level 1 class, as well as my class as well. But you can, if you wanted to book with me, if you're in the UK, you're welcome to book with me. I do have people that travel in from overseas though, and they stay in an Airbnb and just, it does happen, which is lovely. So you can totally do that, but I'll put a link to my Reiki 1 in there. And I'll also, the next video will be the Reiki 2 course, so you can watch that when you're ready as well. But yeah, I hope that's kind of answered some questions for you. If you have any more questions, put them in the comments, please. I'll happily answer them. Be sure to subscribe to see more videos about Reiki. There's tons there as well. And I'll also put a link to my Reiki meditation playlist. You can have a look at that. So there's lots of resources here for you. You've landed in the right place, basically. But yeah, so yeah, please subscribe, please like and share this video. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.